It's the Agribusiness Report. I'm Tony St. James. Welcome to sunny Orlando. It's the site of CattleCon 24. With us, Ginger Orton, Texas Tech University student, right?
Absolutely, a PhD student, almost done, graduating in May.
Okay, little background about you and how you ended up in Lubbock, because you just didn't drive up the road, did you?
I didn't, not just drive up the road. It was a long drive. So I'm from Southwest Georgia originally, and I was raised on my parents' cow-calf operation there, so we have a cattle background, and got my bachelor's degree in agricultural communications after my awesome farm upbringing, and wanted to stay in the ag industry for sure. And then after my bachelor's degree, was really attracted to Texas Tech to pursue those terminal degrees in my field. Texas Tech had the best ag com program, and really had it going on these connections between industry and research, which is really where my passion lies. So it was worth the long, dusty drive from Georgia to Lubbock.
So I guess one of the questions would be, what will you do with this degree? What's the future hold for you?
Absolutely. So like I said, I am graduating in May, and so I'm looking out at all the horizons. My options are currently open now, but I'm looking equally at faculty positions and some in industry. But at the end of the day, I'm a researcher. So my whole mission, no matter where I end up, is to drive that pragmatic change within the industry that is data-driven. So we want to provide empirical evidence to those best practices, whether that's back to the scientific community through a faculty role, or whether that's back to industry through working with a nonprofit or with an industry organization on how to drive those communication best practices.
So I guess one of the questions is, obviously, you could be networking here, but really, why are you here?
Absolutely. So what are we doing in sunny Orlando? We're here collecting data as part of this larger study. So I mentioned we want to make these data-driven decisions. And as a communicator, we got to know our audience. That's day one communications advice, is know your audience and know who you're talking to. And so when we go to communicate with cattle producers, they're a very unique industry, unique characters. I myself am one, so I have that insider perspective as well. But we're all different, and we have these motivations towards practices that relate to our personal values and how we view the world and how we view our operations and the larger system at play in agriculture. And so we're here doing this research to really understand producers' perceptions, specifically around this sustainability context. I've been to a lot of sessions here. I'm not just networking and collecting data, but I've gotten to hop into some of the general sessions, and boy, is the word sustainability buzzing around here. And so we're really looking at how producers define that. We're doing an intercept survey. So we're asking them some questions. We have iPads and little QR codes. They can take it on their phone. But we're gathering all of that data so we can better understand our audience and drive that sustainable behavior change.
What prior work really led up to this and this effort?
Right, yes. We didn't design the survey on the way here from Lubbock or anything like that. It has been quite the process. So we were actually here last year doing some preliminary research that kind of launched this whole project on the data collection side. So we did a survey last year to just get some baseline understandings of how producers are perceiving sustainability and these similar motivations to what I talked about. But then the last question of that survey was, would you leave your name and email if you'd be interested in talking more? And we heard from a lot of our members that they were interested in talking more about sustainability. And so it's called snowball sampling. You imagine a snowball rolling down a hill and collecting more and more snow. And that's how it happened. So those initial members we met at NCBA last year, we used their first input to design the survey we're here today delivering. And so other preliminary steps are that from that initial sample from NCBA last year, we conducted in-depth interviews so we could really get those qualitative understandings of how they really perceive it, not just checking boxes, but verbally getting in-depth, letting them define it for us. We call them experts of their situation. And so we need their information to know how to communicate back to them. And so we did nationwide interviews with cattle producers on Zoom, and then we did this fun card sorting activity. And so we had these perceptions of sustainability, and it was kind of a forced ranking system where they had cards, looks like a bell curve, and so the most important statements ended up on the right, some middle ground, and then the ones that were less of a priority on the left. And so between those interviews and that card sorting process, we were able to really define sustainability in the producer's terms and start to examine how to best communicate about it, since we had that initial understanding there.
Maybe an obvious question, I don't know, but what's next?
Absolutely. Next is the exciting part. I'm the researcher who likes to collect the data, but then the magic happens after the data is collected, where we're able to refine these results and really see the themes that come through. Because I mentioned earlier these data-driven best practices, and as a communicator, we really want to be able to say empirically and with evidence that this message has the most likely chance of fostering a positive attitude towards these practices. And so what's next is that we analyze this data, the data from those previous two phases I mentioned, in conjunction with this last third phase. So the interviews, card sort, and then the surveys we're here today will be kind of tied into this big package that goes from, I mentioned audience analysis, information needs, what needs do the producers have regarding sustainability communication, and then this last leg of experimenting with the messages. And so what we'll do with this afterwards is we're all about open sharing, open science, data sharing, full transparency. So we'll publish this not only back to NCBA from this awesome beef checkoff partnership we've had, because we want, this is pragmatic research. We got to get it to our stakeholders and get it to that end user, which is NCBA, but then also to the academic community. We publish in scientific journals that are open access, so other ag communicators and practitioners can access this. Hopefully it sparks both communication behavior change and future research in this area.
Wow, so exciting.
Thank you.
And I can see the excitement in your face on this and just the way you describe it. So we wish you the best when you come back and see us.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Okay. Ginger Orton is a student at the Davis College of Agriculture, Texas Tech in Lubbock. And from sunny Orlando, CattleCon 24, I'm Tony St. James. It's the Agribusiness Report.